Sometimes the fastest car we need is sitting right in front of us. This all comes off the back of this week's live weekly events all around this car, particularly the Mercedes 300 SL. And it does beg a question: how do some of the fastest guys in game set the times that they are setting in specific cars? Now, recently we obviously got this week's live weekly events, and the race in particular has a max year build of 2000 and a max RP of 550. Now, instantly my attention was drew towards the Alpine A110 Saloon Edition. It's four-wheel drive, it's very quick off the line, and it is a very good handling vehicle. But the week was all around the 300 SL, and some of the times that have now been set on the leaderboard does start to raise some questions. One, how did they set the times that they are setting? But two, is this the fastest car? So we'll quickly jump back over to finding the remote, the 4.6 mile dry 100% asphalt race. 550 RP with a max year build of 2000. Now instantly we thought, what cars do we have that are quickest for this? Myself, like I mentioned, I jumped over to the Alpine A110, didn't build it for the race, it was still an off-road build, but it did have road tyres. I managed to set a 2 minute 57.24. But we can see just how wide this leaderboard is. All different sorts of cars. Lancia Delta Integrales, Porsche 911s, Mercedes 300 SL. That Porsche 911 Carrera Coupe, that was sitting in the back of my head. I thought that one there really was going to be a dark horse. I might still explore the opportunities that is there with that car. But we can see the top 4 times on the leaderboard are in the 300 SL Mercedes, Asayun and GR Pacuvias, the two usual culprits right up at the top of the leaderboard, with a 2 minute 40 and a 2 minute 39. I've only set a 257, so we've got what, 27 seconds or so, is that about right? 17 seconds perhaps to make up there. Is this 300 SL that much quicker? We're going to find out right here. We've built this full for performance. Let's see how we do get on. How do we get this thing launched off the line? Of course we're going to light the back end up. It's rear wheel drive, it's very powerful, so we do light the back end up here initially. But we want to get a good launch here. We want to fully commit to some of these first early corners that we do have, and it is exactly what I have done as we do belt down the hill here. How we're going to get on here. We've obviously got an AI car all over the back of us, but we don't lift. We fully commit round that right hander. Just enough traction was found on the rear end of the 300, lifting ever so slightly around that left hander. The back end just starting to step out once again in the Mercedes, but overall we've committed as much as I possibly can through the early stages here, not lifting where I can possibly keep the foot down. Into our first braking zone, I feel like we've managed to save enough time through there, you know, carrying in as much speed as I possibly could around those tricky corners where we know the back end of this does just constantly want to step out. In through the left hander here, into the right hander. Again, I feel like I've carried enough speed through there, extending the circuit as much as we can from curb to curb. Managing to save a little bit of time here. I did say in the early coverage of this video, that recording of course will be right up there, guys. There is a couple of, maybe a few split seconds, maybe even a second we can save just back at that little section there, cutting the corner early. Hopefully benefiting from that in this outing and managing to save that time. But for me, I don't see where there is 17 or 18 seconds to be made without cutting the track. There must, in my opinion, be a shortcut on this track somewhere. We'll have a look what kind of time we do manage to set though. Maybe losing a couple of seconds there, coming in slow through the right hander. And we just managed to keep it. We just managed to keep that thing on 2 wheels, back down onto 4 through the right hander, getting very ambitious over the curb. Now perhaps this section here is where they're cutting time. You can see coming downhill, it does feel fairly slow. Maybe cutting across that is where the time is saved, but I'm not sure how much time we truly would save cutting out that corner just there. But once again, back onto this dual carriageway section, foot flat to the floor. We want to get up to speed as quickly as we can. I don't want to lift this thing at all until I really have to for that big right hander that is of course coming up. We want to fully commit to this. 160 miles per hour is the max speed I can get in this 300 SL with the tune I have built. We topped out there at 155 coming into the braking zone. Again, maybe not as quickly as we could, but I don't feel I've lost too much time coming into this tight, tricky section here towards the end of this race. I do feel like I've carried enough speed and enough momentum to be able to set quite a good time here in the 300. Into the hairpin, maybe not the cleanest entrance, but I don't feel I've lost much time at all as we come onto the home stretch now, guys. Fully committing this time out, not backing off, over the little hill, through the left hander, not lifting whatsoever, round the right hander, crossing the line. What kind of time do I manage to set 2 minutes and 50. So we managed to trim off a whole 7 seconds of that, but we're still 10 and 11 seconds off the top of that leaderboard. Where on earth are we making 10 or 11 seconds on that race? Guys, if you know, let me know down in the comments section. But as you can see, we've all got similar builds, 550 RP. I imagine we've all got very similar tunes as well. But the times that Asayun, GR Pacuvius and Jetstream Raven have set there, I don't know where there's another 10 seconds in that race. Perhaps I'm just slow, perhaps I'm missing something, perhaps there's a shortcut that there is there to be taken. Let me know in the comments section, but does this pose a big question? Shortcuts in the game, do we need rid of them? We obviously spoke about it in previous videos. It may be an issue in time, but right now, if we can expose some of these shortcuts, fantastic for everyone. I'm not entirely sure where that shortcut may be in that race, guys. I might persist with this a bit more. I just don't understand how we're 10 or 11 seconds faster than that time, and this isn't for me to sit here and say I am the fastest race in the game, I should be at the top of the leaderboard. That is not the case. I just simply don't know where there's another 10 or 11 seconds in that race in the 300 SL Mercedes. A short one for you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for more updates on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.